a very special guest today, candidate for Assembly District 7. John, we'd like to welcome.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
You're welcome. Listen, we are proud to have you on the show, and as a matter of fact, John has been an employee for the library district for over 30 years.
Nearly 30 years.
That is awesome. Also, he's been involved with our Waking Up as One Nation, part of the organizing and the structure. You were actually one of the first persons to be involved with our Waking Up as One Nation event on a yearly basis for the last 3 or 4 years.
Very honored.
Had this event going to unite the community. On that day, we just unite all communities to come together and forget all about where you come from, what party affiliation you're from. And so, John, you've always, been involved, and I love that about you. I'm very proud of you, actually, especially running for assembly.
Thank you.
Also, you've been in political science since May of 1996.
That's when I got my master's degree.
Wonderful. That is just awesome. As a journalist, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, I was born and raised in Las Vegas, Nevada. Lived here all my life. I'm 54. And as Rosemary has said, I've been with the library district for nearly 30 years. I do have a master's in political science from UNLV. Also, I happen to have had 2 internships for a Congressman Bill Bray, when I was an undergrad. I also had the opportunity to work for the police department when I was going to undergrad school. I worked for the police department about 5 years while getting my degree. Also, I worked for the the only African American black newspaper in Nevada. It's formerly Las Vegas Sun Voice newspaper. I worked for them on and off for 17 years. Also, I had been a steward for the Teamsters Local 14 for 10 years.
Wow, that is amazing.
Thank you.
So I know for a fact that you know a lot of our community. Our community, the Hispanic community knows you, the Asian community, and all communities you've been involved with through events.
Yes, diversity is very important to me because we're all in this together. With all the recent problems with the coronavirus and unemployment going on, we all need to come together as one and break down the barriers that divide us and find the things that make us one together. Strong Nevada.
I see. John, as a city councilman, candidate for city councilman District 7, I'm sorry, assembly, we'll get there soon, but in the near future. But as assembly for District 7, what issues do you want to present to our community to let them know that you're going to be right there fighting for them? What's your number one issue?
My number one issue is health and medical. Being that I'm a father of 2 special needs children who need help with hospitals and insurance and medical needs, I understand the importance of having good health and having medical opportunities, as well as seeing doctors, therapy, whatever, pharmacy, whatever you need. So I would focus on medical because without having good health, you can't really do anything. You can't enjoy your life, you can't go to work, you can't pay your bills, you can't enjoy your family, and you can't pay your taxes to afford the government that we have now providing the services such as fire, police, libraries, schools, streets, what have you.
I see. And you said medical. We understand that there's a lot of people here, including children, suffering without medical, especially the undocumented families. What would you have to say to them if they have children that can vote in their home, and let's say they want to have their children support you and vote for you, the ones that can vote, that are citizens, and let's say their parents don't have that medical, would you support a bill that would be created to be able to have them have medical
Yes,
as
yes,
well?
I would support a bill to support the undocumented. I would also support any support to the dreamers because in my mind, they are already citizens. And if you don't believe that the dreamers are already not citizens, you have to remember, dreamers grew up in our schools in our nation. And if I remember correctly, we all take a pledge of allegiance in order to start the day off at school. Those dreamers took that pledge of allegiance. They didn't take a pledge of allegiance to Russia or Croatia. They took it to the United States of America. So in my mind, they're already citizens. We need to make them citizens, and then we need to move on to dealing and handling and working with the undocumented so they can become citizens with a clear pathway that is affordable and fair. Because when people look at the undocumented, they always put on it a Hispanic face. It's not just a Hispanic problem, it's an everyone problem because there are many different races that come to the U.S. and have the same blockage or problems or troubles or stumbling blocks as Hispanics do. That's many from Africa, Asia, even Europe that come, and we need to help them.
Well, thank you so much, John. I know there's a lot of children out there suffering, and so that is very nice to know, John, as a candidate that you're willing to go to that level and help the all families.
Absolutely.
So, what's your number two issue?
Jobs. People need to work. After you have and enjoy good medical and good health care, you need a job in order to take care of yourself, take care of your family, as well as to be able to pay your bills and also pay your taxes. So yes, I would be for employment for all Nevadans so that we can all have jobs and take care of ourselves and our families.
Now, I have a little question for you. I understand that lots of people that have jobs are kind of underpaid. Some of the positions are underpaid. Do you support the $15 an hour raise for the labor in Nevada?
Yes, I do. I do support the $15 raise, and I have to say this, that we may have to make it even higher than that. We may have to make it either 18 or 20. And the reason for that is because I heard on the news that with the coronavirus isolating the Las Vegas Strip and all of Nevada, it may be that if the casinos are closed for 3 months, which is 90 days, that would mean that almost nearly $1 billion would be lost in income for the state of Nevada. So we may need to have more monies being for salaries so that people can catch up to that loss in the state being shut down and quarantined. So yes, I would definitely want to have people making more money because obviously all fees would probably go up, taxes would go up because we got to catch up to that $1 billion loss.
Now, talking about jobs, I have a question for you. We understand that most of the people in the culinary industry, in the unions, most of the people work 3 and 4 jobs because they don't have a full-time job right now. They go from one casino to another casino and work different jobs just to make ends meet and maybe be able to make those $18 an hour or $15 an hour that we're talking about. So what would you say to our community that has those 3 and 4 jobs to be able to make ends meet? Because we know that nowadays, John, that the culinary workers, actually, because I'm an ex-culinary worker myself, sometimes you have to go and work the extra job to be able to qualify for that insurance, to be able to pay your insurance as well. And so I want to know if you are like in for be able to have the union set like a higher pay raise and then create more jobs so that they don't have to go to 2 to 3 jobs per person.
What I would support is helping the unions to create more jobs, as well as that leads into my third important issue, which would be education. I hate to say at this point, being that I did go to school to get a master's degree, I did attend a seminar pertaining to jobs here in Southern Nevada, and we had people who had doctorates that was talking about the importance of jobs in the trades, construction jobs, plumbing jobs, jobs that didn't take an extra amount or over amount of time in order to get those jobs as far as training is concerned, but where you could go to school, training, and you would be able to come out and get a job. I believe that's something the unions would be all for and want to do, as far as getting people in. And also, too, we can go back to the schools and have trade schools again, where they can come in and if you're not wanting to go to college or college isn't your thing, start working on a trade, like a vocational school, like when I was growing up, and you would go.
Awesome, that's great. And what about the parents that are out there looking for the jobs, the single mother, the single father that doesn't have daycare, and they want to go to school and they want to be able to work? I believe there's a small percentage of daycares out there nowadays to be able to pay that, organization, or I know there's creations of organizations out there, like there used to be EOB
Right.
programs for the care of a child
Right.
while you went to school or went to train for a job and get training. So would you support any type of organization like that so that the single parents or even parents actually would be able to keep working?
Yes, I would support any program such as like EOB, which would allow for some type of care of children while the parents or the single parent is going to work. Definitely hats off to those organizations that's been offering free daycare to first responders and people who are working in the medical community who are trying to do their job to help and save all of us while also taking care of their children. So yes, I would support bills that would do that.
I see. And number 4 is infrastructure.
Infrastructure, yes, yes. Infrastructure is a beautiful word, which means that we're going to have employment, which means that once the persons or young people go to school, be it through vocational school or go through unions, there would be a job for them, which would be working on our roads, working on our buildings, our lighting, signing, whatever, even refurbishments of buildings if necessary. We would have something for them to do, and that would be covered by infrastructure.
That's wonderful, John. And he's talking about all the roads, the bridges, the sidewalks. Now, I have a question for you. There's a lot of senior citizens that have their little mobile chairs and they're trying to get to the grocery store, and some of the streets are actually, the pavement is broken and they can't get across that sidewalk. I know that a lot of the senior citizens have those complaints, and also the crossing of, the streets, in the areas they don't have the availability of crossing as a disabled person to get to the other streets to be able to go to stores and groceries.
Yes, I would be definitely interested in helping with those sidewalks, but I have to say that sidewalks are usually a city matter, which is local, but we would have to work with our local officials, local elected officials, to make sure that we secure the monies so that they can work on the streets and work on the sidewalk and help out the senior citizens, because I am 54 and I don't know when I'm going to have to ride on that scooter.
You're right. You're right. So, John, we have a little bit more time and we wanted to surprise you with a little bit more time so that you can tell us your experiences of, I know you're an ambassador for peace, and I know you've done your fair share in our community, working out there without having to expect nothing in return. And so, how has that? This is how they nominated you to be an ambassador for peace, the hardworking volunteer out there for his community. And I'm talking about you work with all communities, correct?
Yes, correct.
And so, tell me one experience that you've had, John, about working in that community that's really touched your heart.
Well, I'm going to beat our own drum, pretty much waking up as One Nation's drum. And the reason why I say this is because I did have an opportunity to work with Miss Rosemary Flores with Wake Up as One Nation, because she is the founder. And she had us all get up and tell stories and contribute. And I'm going to tell you a story about how when I was leaving the country, I was going over to Tijuana to buy some artwork and enjoy the culture over there. And I was there only for one day, and I wanted to make my way back to the USA. And as I was coming back to the USA, they asked me, the company I was with, they were very Hispanic, Laza, because they was helping me with my English and helping me get around and learn everything. And as I was coming back, they were the ones that, okay, come on through. But then when they saw me, they said, whoa, where were you born? And I was rather shocked and taken aback because, well, I'm very African American looking. I can't imagine why they would ask me such a question. And they asked me for my ID. And I said, okay, well, here's my ID. And then they asked me who the president was. And now I was really trying not to get upset. You asking me all these questions. But my friend and company had said, go ahead and answer the question. And so I told them the president of the United States, I think at that time it was George W. Bush, I believe. And then I told them who the governor of California was.
Are you sure it wasn't John Wayne?
At that time, I could tell who the governor was of California and who the not city council, but the congressmen were. And they were looking at me. They said, "Go ahead and go. Go ahead and go. Go ahead and go." And I was like, I was just miffed that this happened. But I'm gonna tell you, there is nothing like coming from some place where you're not familiar with, or you come from somewhere where you don't see any opportunities, no chances, no hope, abject poverty, to what you believe is a new home, which is supposed to have a great deal to offer you and your family, with rainbows everywhere, and to have this type of treatment. So that in itself made me understand the importance of immigration and naturalization because of being at that border. And I was just going home. I'm an American citizen. I would hate to think what would happen if I had came from somewhere else and was coming here. That's why we need to have something that is straightforward, you pay, and it's fair for everyone.
Oh, thank you so much. And I'm kind of glad you went through that experience because not too many people know actually what the Hispanic people or any person coming from a different country, the experiences that people go through and they have having to deal with immigration. So I know immigration is a very important topic nowadays, and it's a topic that's never going to end. And of course, we have some very good families here in all over the United States, hardworking people that come from different countries, and we're going to support them and keep helping them be able to reach the American dream that they come here for. And so I wanted to ask you another question, John. In your district, in District 7, have you had the ability, and I know it's very hard for these candidates nowadays because of the coronavirus, no one should be out there. And, oh, wait a minute, are we too close? Hold on. No. But it's not really funny, but we have to take care of ourselves. But with the coronavirus, it's so hard to go and knock on doors. No one's going to open your doors to you. And I know it's very hard for all the candidates to do their campaigning, but the strongest campaigning is through social media, isn't it?
Yes.
And we're able to reach all those homes, all those people, thousands of people, which more people than what you can reach from door to door. And I want to ask you a question. What's the percentage that you would think would be in the Hispanic, with a Hispanic percentage in your district of Hispanics in your area?
Well, from what I understand, there's over 30% of my district is Hispanic. I'm sorry I don't have an actual number. Okay. Please forgive me, but it would be over 30%. But part of my campaigning that I enjoy is the fact is this is the 5th time I've ran for office. And I've been in my home since 2004, December 23rd, 2004, I ran for county commissioner. Then I ran for city council in North Las Vegas. Then I ran for the assembly, District 7. That was 10 years ago. And I ran again for North Las Vegas City Council. So as you see, I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. I ain't moving here or moving there. I'm staying put right here in Assembly District 7. I'm staying in my house. The house that I was able and blessed to be able to purchase so that when my daughters would come over and visit me, because I am single, they come over and spend time with me at my house. They would have the quality of life that they deserve, that I was blessed to be able to afford, to give them their own rooms, their own space, watch whatever they want to watch on TV, whatever they want to do. So if I don't go, or this doesn't be what I would want it to be far as a campaign or election results that I would like, I'm going to still be here. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not moving.
But I'm pretty sure that most of the issues that you cover are the most important issues in our community, which is labor, medical, and education are the top issues within amongst most of the candidates. Do you know what most important issue is in District 7 right now? What is District 7 going through right now that needs your help at this moment?
I would have to say that District 7 is going through what now many districts in the state of Nevada is going through, and that is unemployment, needing jobs and opportunities. And one of the things I would like to really do is definitely use all the resources of Nevada to bring in jobs into Assembly District 7, as well as look forward to the federal government, see what they have to offer to help bring in jobs to Assembly District 7. And one exciting thing that I really like is that in Assembly District 7 is something called NASA. Do you know of the great works that NASA is doing out there? Do you know that they actually have satellites that go past Pluto, in which they're studying Jupiter and other great planets? And I wonder, as a person who used to do sports in high school, do football, track, and I did a little semester, a little bit of wrestling, just a little bit. How many young people, not just Hispanics or blacks, but young people in Century 7 who look at the stars and dream and have fantasies about going to different planets, going to different Milky Ways, who are very good in science and math, who want opportunities. I would love to work with NASA, which is right on the borderline of Assembly District 7 and Assembly District 6, to work with our young people who do have a knack and a love for the science and math, especially young ladies. It's your turn. It's your time.
Yes. And what plan do you have for the women, for the young ladies, for the women that are struggling with many issues right now? We know that there's a lot of human trafficking. And that's in every district.
Right.
In the whole state of Nevada and out of the state. And so, what would you say to them?
Well, what I would say to them is that I would definitely go to the legislature and I would listen to what it is that they would want. Because too many times we as men, when we're in political power or in office, we take it upon ourselves to decide what is best for you. I would be listening and have an open mind, ear, and heart to what their issues are and how to resolve them. Because you know what's best for you.
That's wonderful, John. We know that as women, have issues. They also have decisions to make, and some of those decisions are very difficult, and they're very difficult for as a woman for the family as well. We have the issue of abortion. Do you support abortion, John?
Yes, I do support abortion.
You believe in the choice of a woman should have a choice?
Yes, I do. It's a woman's body, it's her choice, and it is her decision that she needs to make.
I see. And that's well respected in all areas, and all, that's one issue that we respect every woman and young woman in the state of Nevada. And so, John, let's talk a little bit about you know, you said you worked 30 years in the school, in the library district.
Yes.
How's your experience coming together with the young, you're talking all ages of the communities. Do they know that you're running for assembly?
I think they'll know now.
Oh, wonderful.
I think they'll know now. But I have to say, it's been an amazing time at the library district. I feel like I was so blessed to work for a fascinating and phenomenal, fantastic job, which allowed me to help so many people and be involved in so many people's lives. See, a lot of times people look at librarians and they're just thinking there's somebody that's cataloging books or putting books on a shelf or telling you, shh, in the library, be quiet. Libraries today have evolved to be like counselors, sources of information beyond the stereotypes of books and magazines and news articles. People come to the libraries these days to use computers because you can't go anywhere or do anything outside without a computer. So we have computers. We have downloadable information that you can download from our website. That you have movies, DVDs, magazines, newspapers, all these type of things. Plus, we deal with problems with people who have mental problems, who may need help, and they come to us, and we do our best to try to find the resources to help them out. Or we have people who need food or need a place to stay. The whole point of the library district is, as a librarian, is that you never want the person to leave with nothing. You never want them to leave empty-handed because that person has come to our door looking for help, and I've been very fortunate to help almost like 3 generations of people, not just Hispanic, but all kinds of people that come into our doors. I don't have to go through all the races, but help them as well as having to help people from foreign nations who would come into the hospitals that were downtown. And those were really great because those people would come in and they would actually, when the computers first came out and you would do emailing, they would actually wait in the library for 2 or 3 hours to use a computer to email. 2 to 3 hours. I mean, could you imagine going to Europe, Spain or Britain or Germany, or even Japan, and you need to text somebody, email your family, and you're going to spend 3 hours of your life there. That used to amaze me that people would do that. But they had no choice. And the library district and what the library offers is just so fantastic and so phenomenal because I believe at this point that libraries are picking up where other agencies might have a shortfall, not because they don't want to do certain services or do certain, it's because the money's not there. The tax dollars are not there. And so the library says, hey, come our way. We'll do what we can. So I've been blessed to be able to work with the agencies that says, come as you are, we'll do what we can to help you.
And do they have ESL classes?
Oh yes. English as a second language, which is free of charge. And also they have GED classes if you need to, get a GED in high school. And they also have this career opportunities. They're like a entity that's separate from the library district, but they are working inside libraries to help people find jobs or to get the necessary skills or education to get jobs that they may want.
That is awesome, John.
We do a lot.
That is wonderful. And so I actually have another question for you. I know that you just mentioned that you ran for different departments.
Yes.
In the state of Nevada, and this is your 5th time?
Yes.
Okay, so where did you see where you were lacking in winning those seats? Why weren't you able to be given that opportunity in the political world? And what was it that what was it that didn't make it happen for you?
Money. You have to have a way of getting your message out. You need a vehicle. And that is covered by you being able to pay for advertisement, pay for signs, pay for people to see that you are running. And there are people who support me and may want to see me in office, but you don't want to support somebody that doesn't seem to be able to get their own name out or get their agenda out. Or you have people that might feel like, oh, well, he's just using me. He doesn't have anything on his own, so he's going to use me to bolster himself because he doesn't have what it takes on his own. But my biggest blockage and my biggest stumbling block has always been raising money. I can go out, I can talk to people, I can connect with people, we can debate, we can agree, we can find impasse statements of all kinds of stuff. But when it comes to raising money, that's where I've had a big shortfall.
So, in the state of Nevada, people that have money, people that are able to raise the money for their campaigns are more successful than the people that can't reach the goal of raising that money to be able to be in office.
That is correct.
That is correct. Okay, so
If that wasn't correct, then some people would still be challenging Biden and Bernie for the Democratic nominee to be president. I mean, you can only go so far if you have the finances behind you. If the finances is not there, and if you don't have the finances on your own person to invest in yourself, then it could be curtains closed very soon for you.
or you can go grassroots. You can go grassroots and knock on all those doors and go on live TV and make mountains move because, by the word of mouth, sometimes you create change and you create that movement for your campaign, even though you don't have the money. But at least, I've seen some candidates actually that didn't have the money. Like, I can mention one or two maybe, or a few. But I've seen them that now they're very popular in the community. And now they're ready to move forward because from that experience, people know them, they know who they are, and they became popular in our state of Nevada. And so we had a candidate that ran for governor, and now he's very popular, very popular. And now you mention his name, and people say, "Oh yes, he ran for governor," even though he didn't have the money. And we've seen the struggles. We were there hours and hours for that candidate to make it happen for him, but we've seen the struggle. And I just wanted to hear it from your perspective, from your opinion, to see how you felt of why you didn't make it in those 5 races that this is your 5th race actually, the 4 races that you ran. And, I don't know what it is to be a candidate, and I will one day. But I don't know what it is to be a candidate and not have the money and have to wait for our community to support you. But you know what, John, let me tell you something. You're very special in our community. I myself, I just love you, John, because every time we call you, you're there. This is someone that when you tell him we need that support in our community, he's always there. And I'm not trying to make points or, because you're running for assembly. I'm not going to vote for you. But I'm joking. I'm joking, John. But what I'm saying,
in my area. You can't vote for me.
I'm not in your district, you're right. But let me tell you something, John. You have that moral support from us, from me.
Thank you.
And you will have it from our Hispanic community.
Thank you.
Because once I run this live TV, they will see you, and we have a surprise for you.
Really?
Actually, we do. We have another live TV in Spanish.
All right.
Yes, and actually, that person would like to offer you his live TV in Spanish so that you can be able to communicate to our Hispanic community, and they can be able to run that through all the social media pages and help you with your campaign, because you have given back to this community now the community wants to give back to you.
Oh.
When I have mentioned to some of our community leaders in our Hispanic community, they said, we want to help them, we want to support them, and they're very excited about you running. And this time, John, you're not going to run alone. You're going to run with the Hispanic community right behind you. And that is wonderful.
That is great.
You have my moral support. I am here for you. And, you know, just like you've been here for me and our community. And so we want to be able to make that voice heard.
Well, I'm really honored, and I'm rather humbled, because, you know, all I ever wanted to do was to serve. And for some people who say you coming out your fifth time, you know, why do you come out? Because some people in life believe that they have a purpose. They have something that they want to do with their life. And my purpose is to help people. And I understand that to help people, you have to be in a position where you can pass legislation or move agendas that help the people. And when people think to themselves, well, I don't know how he can do this. He's ran 4 times, this is his 5th time. Why don't he just give it up? Why don't he just pack it up? To those people, I say this. I say that when you run, when you run for office or when you compete for anything in this world, before you prepare or plan to win, be prepared and plan to lose. And to me, whether I win or lose, just being before you is more than I could ever anticipate, expect, or be thankful for. Thank you.
And John, let me tell you something. I'm gonna just introduce you briefly because I know that our Hispanic community knows you in Spanish. Pero yo quisiera dejarles saber a nuestra comunidad hispana de que John Stevens está lanzándose como candidato para el Distrito 7 como asambleísta y él quiere que todos tengan medical, incluyendo con las familias indocumentadas que no tienen seguro médico para poder recibir esa ayuda, atención médica que usted necesita en nuestra comunidad. Aparte de los trabajos, John quiere que se sigan creando los trabajos para tener una mejor economía y aparte de que todos puedan tener un buen trabajo y que puedan aumentar el salario mínimo a $15 por hora para que ustedes puedan poder vivir como se tiene que vivir en el estado de Nevada y poder pagar sus biles y atender a sus familias también. Y la parte de educación, él quiere que puedan todos ir a esos entrenamientos laborales que tiene la Unión, por ejemplo, de construcción. Hay diferentes educación de labor donde no tienen que ir a un colegio y pueden asistir a esos entrenamientos de trabajo y no tener que pagar miles y miles de dólares para poder ir, para poder tener un buen trabajo y un buen salario con una buena educación. Y aparte él quiere que todas las calles que se puedan arreglar, el pavimento, para que las personas que están deshabilitadas puedan ir puedan ir y venir de sus tiendas del mandado para que no batallen en la cruzada de una calle donde está la calle afectada, quebrada, el pavimento, y puedan ellos también tener mejores calles para engrandecer también, aparte de eso, el estado de Nevada y sea un acceso mejor para nuestro estado. I just explained to them a little bit. Y ahora su bio de él trabajó para un periódico, él es padre de 2 niñas, es soltero y graduó de la escuela Political Science desde mayo de 1996. Él graduó de esa escuela Y él también fue parte de nuestro evento de Waking Up as One Nation, despertando en una sola nación. El proyecto que se ha hecho durante los 4 años atrás. Él fue parte del empiezo de este proyecto y muy pronto se va a registrar ese proyecto y muy pronto se va a hacer una organización de Despertando con una sola nación y John va a ser una de las personas que le vamos a pedir que sea parte de la mesa directiva, porque como John ha estado ahí desde el principio. I just explained to our community that you have been a part since day one of Waking Up as One Nation, and the day we do decide to make it an organization or a nonprofit organization, because it is a project, that you will be asked to be in the right there in directing
Sí.
in the mesa of directores.
Sí.
Okay, so he will be one of our board members. Y él también fue embajador de la paz por todo su trabajo y labor en nuestra comunidad. He also is an ambassador for peace, which was appointed. He was appointed throughout his volunteer work in the community in the state of Nevada. People, a lot of the ambassadors for peace, seen how hardworking he was, and so he was able to be appointed ambassador for peace, and this is why now he serves his community even a lot more with the Peace Federation, Universal Peace Federation. Él es embajador de la paz por su trabajo laboral que él ha hecho en nuestra comunidad. Incondicionalmente, él sigue dando a nuestra comunidad y ahora como candidato a asambleísta del Distrito 7, nosotros queremos poder apoyar a nuestro candidato John Stevens III. Muchísimas gracias, and John, I'd like to thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. I really appreciate being here today.
Did you understand everything I said?
I understand enough.
Poquito?
Poquito. Habla español para 3 años.
Okay, so as a matter of fact, we'd like to actually want to know and want you to express before we go, real quick, your platform. What is your platform for Assembly District 7?
My platform is health, medical, jobs, education, and infrastructure. Those are my 4 platforms.
Okay, so ya lo escucharon y ya se repitió eso. I mentioned all your platforms already. They're all mentioned in Spanish. And so, which is very, very important topics amongst our community. So, what about what do you think about the coronavirus? And how has it affected people that you know? And also, hold on, I want to ask you an important question. We know that not all people are going to be able to get that stimulus check because some of the people didn't do their taxes for 2 years. The last 2 years they weren't done or whatever the case may be. But we want to know where you stand or how has it affected your life, your personal life, and your family's life to start off with, and then we'll go into the stimulus.
Well, what I have to say about the coronavirus is, I'll be honest with you, I was not surprised because I've been doing research and reading because I'm concerned about medical and health, that there are many diseases and ailments out there that the World Health Organization and doctors do not know about. These are diseases and ailments that have been allowed to go on because the simple fact is that there is no real research or development medical, because of the fact is most medical doctors and hospitals and things of that nature are owned by corporations and businesses. And when you have a corporation or business owning medical or being involved in medical, they're more concerned about profits. And when you're concerned about profits, you're not really concerned about research, development, or study. For example, the coronavirus. Okay, they're saying it's going to take approximately a year to come up with a vaccine for it. So they're going to try and find a way to find out what this is all about or what's going on with it so that they can come up with a vaccine. And that will take time and money because you have to develop, you have to do the research. Develop and research takes years. You cannot turn an easy profit or make money off of development and research. That's why a lot of times there's more money played in the maintenance of medical because you can keep turning out a product, which is an antibiotic or a vaccine, which maintains the ailment or the illness. Doesn't necessarily cure it, but you can maintain. If we want to get to a level of curing diseases, what we have to do is invest in the research, the finding out of the medical. And on the side of the corporations, I understand you can invest in a particular vaccine or antibiotic or something, and after 6, 7 years, the FDA can come back and say, oh no, that's not right, or that's not working well, and you lose money. You lost that investment. Yes, that's a terrible thing, but also a terrible thing is losing family members, children, people you work with. I mean, the reason that I'm not surprised about this coronavirus because I knew about who had said, and also I've even seen research where they talked about global warming. A lot of people don't accept global warming as being a phenomenon. Everyone knows that icebergs are melting all over the place. But did you know that in those icebergs, from what I've been seeing and researching, that there are actually viruses that was encapsulated in there that the modern world has not seen? And those viruses, once that ice melts, those viruses are coming up into the atmosphere where we can breathe it, or because the iceberg's in water, you don't know how far down the water the iceberg goes in the water because we don't know. That ice is melting, it's coming out throughout the water. So there you have it. You have something being released into the air and the water that we don't know about. We don't know and we don't understand because we don't have the research, we don't have the development. So this thing with the coronavirus is very sad and distressing because it's affecting a lot of people's lives, and it's bad enough that it affects your health, but also it's affecting our economy. I mean, even if you are blessed to not have to deal with this in any way, shape, or form, it's still going to affect you by either you not having a job or your child not getting the education that they deserve, not even having the roads or the access to the food or the pharmacies or the vitamins that you need, or your favorite video game for you gamers out there. These are things that we have to look at and be mindful of.
I see. And so, what do you think about the stimulus? I believe that some of the, I guess, there was an approval and then there was no approval. And so, right now, I believe it's been approved. How do you think that stimulus will help our community?
I believe the stimulus will help our community because one thing that's fascinating and wonderful about people who don't have a lot of money or don't make a lot of money, they will spend the money. They're not going to sit there and take that money and put it in a bank account. They're not going to sit there and invest their money in the stocks. They're going to take that money and do what's right. They're going to pay their bills, pay their taxes, pay their things. But one of the things that I really love, it's kind of sad, but it's kind of good in a way, was at Christmas time, a lot of poor children or underworked families can't celebrate Christmas because they just don't have the money. They have to put Christmas aside because of money. But when that tax return comes, when that earned income credit comes, oh boy, we're gonna have a Christmas then. And I used to just love to go by the swap meet and see people come in, and they would come in with their children, and they would buy all these wonderful things for their kids. And the kids would be happy and smiling and everything, and the parents would be really excited because they too could give their kids something, because their kids deserve just like anyone else. It may have not been Christmas morning, except for the joy of being awake, but it was Christmas coming eventually. So yes, I support the stimulus and everyone getting whatever amount. I'm not going to say the amount, whatever amount they plan to send out, because if nothing else I know about people, hard-working people, they're going to spend it. It's going to come back.
Right. And we understand that lots of the people, a lot of the community did spend almost the last of their money in groceries and buying all the necessities for the home and preparing. Some disabled people had to buy, get their medicines and make sure they had a few months and had to pay to go see a doctor and they paid their premiums and paid their pharmacists, whatever their co-pays were. And so a lot of the people didn't have a lot of money to spend to be able to store food like they should. So that's why right now, and I'm glad that, our governor has been wonderful throughout the whole
Sister Life has been a fantastic leader,
coronavirus
right to the point. Fantastic leader.
situation, and we want to thank our governor as well because we respect all our leaders. And I've seen some families actually with nothing, no food, and had to share food, and it doesn't matter. We're all in this together,
Right.
and we all have to be in this together.
Right, and I'm glad you brought that up. Thank you, Rosemary, for bringing it up. Because what I think is I believe that the reason why we're having a shortage is not necessarily hoarding just out of selfishness, hoarding out of greed, but there just might be hoarding because the fact is, I have money today. I have finances to buy food and water, toilet paper right now. I don't know if I'm going to have that tomorrow. I don't know what monies are going to come from my job, compensation, and I don't know what type of stimulus package, if any, is coming from the federal government. And I cannot look at myself, my family, my friends, or anyone and know that I had money right now. So when I have money right now, I take care of the necessities of me and my family so that when I don't have money, it won't be as bad of a day. So I think that the actual urgency and panic that we're seeing is the idea of there not being enough supply, but there being not enough money for the needs. And we have to also understand too that when you have a supply, how do you basically determine how that supply is distributed amongst people? By pricing. Okay, here we go. You control things being circulated by pricing it, which of course causes inflation. And if you start having inflation, then people can't afford to buy the things that they need because it's at a higher level, a higher price. So a lot of people, I believe, are just looking out for their families and the future because they just don't know, and it's the unknown.
Right, and there's a lot of people out there going through panic and anxiety because they say, okay, well, right now they're giving us a chance not to pay a rent or not to pay a mortgage, but we know that coming those months we're going to have to pay it because it's going to be backed up. So is the stimulus check really going to help to be able to pay that mortgage, to be able to pay that power bill, that gas bill, that it's on hold because we're still responsible for our bills.
Well, what's fascinating about all this is the fact is that if you notice how they did the quarantine, it's just like the greatest at this. They prepared us. Each week, every 2 weeks, there was an extra layer of isolation. There was an extra layer of what's going to be essential and non-essential. There was an extra layer of if you are a senior citizen, you show up at these stores at these particular hours, you can get in there. What I'm saying is that this governor and the state of Nevada did not just immediately say, boom, you're on lockdown. They prepared us along the way. They prepared the steps along the way. And I'm going to say this. I understand Mayor Goodman. I understand, I'm sure her constituents, whether they own businesses or not, or even if they're workers, they have expressed to her the concerns of the people of downtown, the owners as well as the workers about wanting to lift not be so long 30 days. This is a very tough and hard pill to swallow. But time has showed us with more and more information and data coming out about these things, we're taking the right steps. our government is being a true leader, and being a leader is not just saying do this, do that. I'm the boss. I'm in charge. Being a leader means that sometimes you have to implement things that's not popular, that people are not going to like, and they're going to criticize you for it. But it has to be done. It is necessary.
What about, I'm a little concerned about the homeless people. The people that don't have a home, the people that don't have any money to buy the necessities to survive, and the people that are out there, breathing in the air every night, every day without a home. I mean, if you were to be elected assemblyman in District 7, and, we don't know the percentage right now of the people that are homeless, if there's any in your district.
I'm sure there is.
Sure there is. How would you take care, how would you help them? What, would you ever create a bill so that they can have some sort of way out of being homeless? Would you reconnect them to their families one day? Would you be able, because these are people that can vote. These are people that have a voice. These are people that are out there hungry with nowhere to go and they're lost.
I would support bills and laws that would help the homeless, but we must understand that the homeless problem is a multifaceted issue with a lot of incredible, complicated circumstances involved. There are people who are homeless because they lost their jobs. There are people who are homeless because they were pushed out of their homes because their families didn't want them anymore, or their families didn't want them anymore because their families couldn't afford to have them anymore. You have people that are homeless because they have drug addictions and problems. You have people that are homeless because they're veterans, people who served our nation, who somehow got into something that it may have not killed them when they were serving our nation or fighting abroad, but it's slowly destroying them as they are here on our streets. So you also have to look at, there are some people who want to be homeless. They don't want to abide by the rules of society. They don't want to be told where to go, when to go. They don't want to be told what job to go to or what bills to pay or taxes. They just want to exist on their own. And, in many ways, that's fine, but there's a problem with it when your existing on your own becomes something of a trouble for someone else who's trying to do what they want to do to exist on their own. So it's existing on your own and where there's a problem. So I would support bills and laws that would definitely help the homeless, but I would try to be a realist about it because I have worked for the library district for nearly 30 years, and out of that nearly 30 years, I spent 27 of those years at the Las Vegas Library, which was the hub center for homeless people. And I've seen many homeless people come in, all walks of life. And you can see people who were homeless who were just became homeless because when they first come in, they were all dressed nicely. They had their bags and luggage with them, and they walk around and they were trying to make their way. But as time continued, it just seemed that they just got more and more sunken into what homelessness really is and the unavailability of opportunities and hope.
What about our police department?
The police department? Well, as I mentioned earlier, I had worked for the police department for nearly 5 years as a part-time employee, a room supervisor for handing out supplies for different events, riot gear, special occasions, and things of that nature. And I have some very wonderful police friends. And I do have a great deal of respect for the police because they have a hard, difficult job. Because when you're a police officer, you have to keep in mind that every person you come in contact with on your shift 90% of the time, if not 95% of the time, something terrible happened. Something bad, something drastic or horrible has happened. So police officers are underneath a lot of stress. And yes, there's a lot of officers that get a bad rap because there are some bad apples. But we all know in any job or occupation in life or industry, there's going to be bad apples. But we shouldn't let those bad apples be the ones that represent the fine, great work of the total workforce of that industry. And we have some really fantastic and fascinating police officers. And yes, I love the word fascinating. That's why I keep saying it so much. And we need to respect the police because we need the police. And people who may not like the police or not think well of the police, we all think this way until we need the police. Until something happens to us and you need to make that phone call.
We understand that. Actually, Sheriff Lombardo was on the news expressing his concerns about the quarantine and that people should stay in their homes and that no matter what, they're going to take care of the crime situation in the state of Nevada. And so did, they're going to be out there and making sure that all of the families are safe. And also Steve Wolfson, was also the district attorney also said that, all crime is going to be taken care of. So I want to let our community know that our police department, and I want to thank them, actually, we want to thank them because they're out there, doing as much as they can and taking care of all of us throughout this whole coronavirus situation. Well, I want to thank you so much, John, for coming today and being a part of Rosemary Flores TV. And we're on every Thursday from 6 to 7 p.m. Don't forget the round table. We have the round table next week. So actually next we have the round table, I'm sorry. But every Thursday, don't forget to tune in on Rosemary Flores TV. And John, thank you so much. I don't want to.
You too.
Yeah. There we go. Thank you so much, and we'll see you soon.